Hey there. In today's video I would like to speak about the 144 Kryst Avatar Ascension process. Kryst Avatar Now what the Kryst Avatar Ascension process is 12 dimensions of consciousness ascending into the form, which is what people call 4 densities of consciousness within one form. And the 144 comes from the amount of tones within each dimensional level of the 12 dimensions. For example, so here we have 12 different levels, and each of these levels represents a dimension. So there we have 12 different dimensional levels, and within each of these dimensions, within each of these dimensions we have 12 tones or 12 bands of energy that make up the dimension. For example, in this dimension there will be 12 smaller lines of energy, 12 of these within each dimension. So there'll be 12 in this one, 12 in that one, 12 in that, 12 in that, and 12 in every one of them. And this gives us an equation of 12 times 12, because we're multiplying the dimensional levels, 12 dimensions, we're multiplying that by the amount of tones within each dimension, and this gives us an equation of 144. And this is why this number is mentioned in so many books and all over the internet, because this ties directly in with the Ascension process. And three of these dimensions, 3 dimensions represents one density level or one reality system, like in a differentiated reality system. For example, the 12th, 11th and 10th dimensions, that represents one density level, which we could call, oh, that's meant to be like that. Which we could call the 4th density. The 4th density. Then we have the next 3. Which is the 3rd density. And then we have this one and this one. Which is 2nd density and this one's the 1st density. So what the Avatar Kryst Ascension process is the merging of all of this, of 12 dimensions, 4 densities, into one single embodiment, which is called the Christed embodiment, or the angelic blueprint, or the divine blueprint. Others call it the Adam Kadmon body. It all relates to the same thing. And also each dimension represents a chakra center, a vortex of energy. Now, many people speak of the ascension process of leaving the body and ascending, but this is just one version of the ascension. Another version is to actually ascend the body, which is more mastery, because ascending the body as well means that we are mastering this realm. We are mastering the body itself. And this is what true mastery is, to be able to master this realm and take the body with us. And in order for us to do this, we have to descend all of these levels of our identity. because each level, each dimensional level represents a level of intelligence of our own being, and a dense physical body, which is made up of the first density of the first to third dimensions, cannot handle all of the extra energies. In order for that to happen, in order for the body to handle it, the body itself needs to change. It needs to uplift. It needs to raise its vibrations. So this is what people talk about when they say the cells are starting to shift from a carbon structure into a crystalline structure. Because it's like, think of a computer. An outdated Windows 98 system would not be able to handle programs that run on the new Windows systems. And also like the hard drives, the outdated hard drives, like a 10 gigabyte hard drive would not be able to handle 1,000 gigabytes of data. The hard drive itself must upgrade in order to handle that. And this is what the body is doing. It's upgrading. It's becoming more complex, more efficient, more advanced, and more evolved. And this ties in with the body shedding its density, becoming less dense. Because less density means more consciousness, more intelligence. Because if the real intelligence, the infinite intelligence, does not have form. So the fact that we have form is the intelligence limiting itself into a form. But as the intelligence descends, as more intelligence descends into the form, then the form itself must become less form. That's how it works. And this process that I'm talking about, this is the process that I believe Jesus went through. And I believe he himself ascended his form into the higher dimensions. So the first density, which is 1, 2, and 3 dimensions, the first to third dimensions, this here this makes up carbon. This is the carbon matter. Then we get to the second density, which is 4th, 5th, and 6th dimensions. And this is the crystalline structure. This is what we're going through now as part of the Ascension. So this here is the next stage in the Ascension process, to go into this form. But that's not just what it is. It's not. It doesn't have to be a progression into different states. There can also be a mastery where we can master. We can change into any state we want. This is what the true mastery is: to be able to traverse all the way through by raising and increasing and decreasing the vibrations of the form. This is how masters can